ready to play. Let's make this a fun-filled day. Missy and Shannon are here to show you how we make toys. Are you ready now? Let's play! So, like we mentioned to you last time, we're going to talk about books. And you can see we're already in our book reading position.
Yeah, we're not sitting.
We are not sitting. We are down, ready to engage and read books. So, best practice, when you are reading a book with your child, you want to make sure you're in a position where they can see your face, you can see theirs, and you can enjoy a book together. You want to be able, when you're reading at books, to work on pointing to pictures, just labeling different things. Kitty says meow meow, or pointing and waiting for them to give you a sound or a gesture or a word for what you're pointing to. Sheep says ba ba. Just labeling the pictures, describing what you see.
Actions that are happening in the pictures.
Exactly. So if you see a car, you might go vroom to talk about the car driving down the road. And you also need to be thinking about and following their lead. So what are they looking at in the book? You may be looking at a totally different picture than what is grabbing their attention. And so to be really mindful of that, following where their eye gaze is going as you're reading, that's going to help them be more engaged, and you're going to be able to work on some of that expressive and receptive language. And what else?
Let's
Should we
go
sit
back
up?
to that sitting position again and talk about that versus the laying down. You know, is it still okay for a parent to have that sitting on your lap, reading time, that snuggle time? Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure we let parents know that it's still okay to do that, sitting in your lap, rocking on a rocking chair, looking at a book. But when you're working on language skills, imitation, this is really kind of the best position to be in when you're reading a book.
And sometimes it's not always possible to be in any other position than having them on your lap with the book in front of you. So it's about balance. That's really what it's all about. But I want to show you one thing with when you are doing book reading. We're going to borrow Teddy over here. So when I have children, this is how I was taught to read books, right? Like this. And I can be going, arr, arr, arr. There's a seal on this page. But the child isn't seeing what I'm doing, right? Sometimes you have no other choice but than to read a book like this, and this is okay, giving you permission to do that. But if possible, to have them on one side, see how I've created a triangle? So now I can talk about the seal on the page, arr, 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 and I can look at my child, and they can look at me, and we can look at the book together, and we can enjoy it. So instead of laying down on the floor, this is another position.
What a great social experience.
Yeah, isn't it?
For you.
And then also, you know, even just having it in front of you too, you could be in a sitting position and then talking about it like this too. That's another position. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so there are lots of different books out there for kids, and you can see we got a little overzealous and brought in lots of different examples. Sometimes we're talking with parents and they will tell us that my kids aren't really interested in books. So sometimes you need to have a book that's going to be interactive or drawing them in. So you can see Shannon has a little bear book and there's a puppet in there.
You can go,
So,
boo!
so making him go in and out and peekaboo draws the child into the book.
This one has two of them. This one actually has music as well to get a little bit more attention. And some movie eyes with this. And each page, the eyes are there and the music's there. So the child can push the button to make the music go again.
Yep. And some kids really are drawn to that, pushing a button and having the music draw them into the book. This is another example. This is a hard toy book that has music as well, with moving parts and lights. And for our first time book readers, this will pull them in. Plus you can sing songs with the book. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Maybe that's part of your regular bedtime routine. So showing them a book with that twinkle, twinkle, with the buttons, with the lights, with the music, draws them in and makes them interested in books. Once they're here, you start looking at it with them. It draws them in even more because it's a social interaction that they're going to find lots of fun.
This one, the plastic too, obviously is washable and can
Yes.
go in a baby's mouth too, so that it
Right,
won't
so
get
they
ruined.
can chew on it. It's okay. It's all right. Other types of books that kiddos like are a lot of little boys, little girls with the wheels. Yeah, there's tractor books and bus books. So talking about, playing with it and then like, oh my goodness, but look at this. We can open it up and there's more tractors. How cool. Ooh, goes the tractor. You see how the language just spurs from that.
Red tractors and
And
blue
blue
tractors.
tractors.
I want to kind of go back to that button book again too, just to kind of show you there's kind of a new form of button books where they're actually like embedded into the pages and into the sounds now, that you just have to gently push your finger on, and it makes the sound. I like this book because we're working on isolating that finger.
Fine motor skills.
Yeah, they're getting a response right away. They don't have to push really hard. It's just that touch.
Just a simple touch.
Yeah. So very neat way of adding that
Yeah,
button.
that's
kind
a
of
new
look,
type
that
of button book.
interactive.
Very cool. Very cool.
Same with going to that
Yeah.
finger isolating. This one is such a great one for that because it's a pop book. So you push and the buttons pop. So
And this one happens to be Five Little Monkeys. I think there's an ocean one and also a farm one, Old MacDonald.
Yeah.
So very, very fun. I've used a book like this for some of our first little readers, just pulling them again into the book. They are just really interested in making the noise, and then we start talking about the pictures and pulling them into the book that way. So super
Now,
fun.
Lucy, when you're working with a little one who is not super into books right now,
Yeah.
are you reading all those words on that page?
No, you don't have to read. That's a great point. You don't have to read all the words. So sometimes what happens if we read all this text there, our kiddo has we've lost their attention and they're off crawling or walking somewhere else. So what's really important is having that permission, parents, that you do not have to read the words. Talk about what you see. Oh no, monkey fell down, bump head. Oh, mama calls the doctor. No, no, no. Just talking about the different pictures. You don't even have to do the story. Point out the ball if that's what they like. Oh, there's a ball.
Ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Oh, look over here. There's a hat. Wow. So that's just, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
With that thought, there's a really great book that I like that's called The Exclamation Book. And this book doesn't have any text. It's just about labeling what you see. So just on the front page, the baby says, uh-oh. Look, puppy has a sock. We tell puppy, no, 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 no. I'm just making stuff up. I'm watching where their eyes are going and I am labeling things that they might find interesting.
Oh no, the
Oh
milk
no. Train. Choo, 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 says the train.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama. Oh, monkey. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. So you can see what that might look like. And with books too, sometimes our kiddos, they just stick with one page. They're interested with they keep on going back to the same old page. And we as adults want to read the whole book. You don't have to read the whole book. Just start with one page. Hopefully it'll expand to 2 pages, then 3 pages. You might be able to show them a 4th page. You don't have to read the whole book. It's okay. Let's see what else.
Did you talk about action books yet?
I didn't. There you go.
All right, so this was one of my favorites with my little guys. just because I can just go, I went through it and I'm a penguin and I can turn my head, and then we turn our head and my boys would turn their head. The donkey kicking at the end was the greatest because we got up and we were kicking our legs like donkeys. But just any way to make it interactive, a motor action, especially for little kids, is super motivating. Clapping the hands, kicking legs. What else was in here? Oh, camels bending down. And stomping your feet like an elephant. This one was just such a great one for my little guys and for the kids that I see, just to get them up and moving with a book.
And you know what's so cool about books? We all the time think about whole learning or meeting all developmental areas in books. So if you think about this pop book is working at that fine motor pointing. This book by Eric Carle, The Head to Toe, it's working on gross motor imitation. And you're working on gross motor skills as you read a book. How interactive and beautiful is that, right?
How about,
let's see.
Did we talk about the picture books that we made?
This one more before we get to homemade.
Okay.
So I want to also show you this lovely thing here. So this is a giant fabric book. And sometimes a way to pull a child into a book to get them to look at it. Look at this, see? Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm, you bring in puppets. Pig says, and then look at, you're working on matching, you're working on engagement and animal sounds and labeling. And then on his farm, he had a cow. Oh boy. Moo. So again, finding, and they don't have to be puppets. If the child enjoys puppets, bring in puppets. They could be little figurines or like the Fisher Price animals, and you match them to the book. It doesn't have to be a book, big book. It can be a small book. Anything, follow your child's lead. Find something that interests them and pull them into the book.
Children like music and songs. There's lots of great books out there that go along with nursery rhymes and songs called McDonald's. Slippery Fish is one of our favorite ones.
Yep, 10 in the Bed.
10 in the Bed, Brown Bear,
Brown Bear. Yes.
Which adapting books there kind of leads right into
So this is another book that we've adapted. What I've done is I've stuck little pieces of Velcro so you can see it becomes easier for the child to independently. Remember how I talked about whole learning, adaptive skills, independently learning how to turn pages, self-help skills. We're making it easier for the child to independently turn the page of the book. But this is also an interactive book because we've copied pictures and then we work on matching as we're singing Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. So we're working on matching. Another lovely way to adapt a book.
Matching and fine motor, just pulling those pictures on and off too.
Exactly. And then we always try to end with an idea of something that you can make for yourself. So what we try to do with a lot of the families that we work with is make a personalized book for your little one, or involve you in making that. And so we just get these little photo books and we insert pictures. We're working on Mama, Dada, things that are meaningful to them in their everyday routines. So here's Dada, here's Mama, choo-choo, the train says choo-choo, ball. These are common things that children like. So not only are we working on some expressive language, choo-choo-choo-choo, or ball, Mama, Dada, but we're also working on receptive. So on this page, I might say to a child, Mama, Mama, there's Mama, Dada, yes, there's Dada. So these are just some things you can try. And sometimes these books don't last even an hour. So what we do too is we either put contact paper over them or we laminate them and put them on a ring. And then we keep adding as they learn how to say more words, or they have new functional things that they are interested in their everyday routines.
And another great thing to talk about with this, you know, Missy had said there's the choo-choo and there's the ball. What I like to do is take pictures of the child's actual toys. So when I go into a home,
Yep.
I want to know what their favorite toy is, and I'm going to take a picture of
Yep.
that toy.
Yeah.
So it's something that they recognize, something
Right.
that's important
Like
to them.
their cup too.
Yes,
Yeah,
their
their
cup.
cup.
Maybe they have a special blanket that they sleep
Right.
with. Their blanket, their stuffed animal. So,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Meaningful things. They get really excited about that because they recognize it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's
That's
all for
it.
books. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can write a comment or contact your home visitor, and we'd be glad to help you out. Next time,
Invitation.
Invitation skills.
All right,
See ya.
bye.